fact that you have a right to life. You might have done some... He might not have done... I don't fucking know, man. You can't tell. I can't tell. Like, sure, you know, he's trying to keep control. He's trying to keep his government in power, and he's killing civilians. At the end of the day, he's fucking killing civilians. I don't stand for what he's done. This is Assad. I don't stand for what he's done. I don't... You know, I see this whole fucking dog and pony show.
I love it. A dog and pony show.
Unraveling, where people, these poor bastards in the Middle East, they just want freedom. That's it. They just want literally to live some sort of free life where someone's not saying, if you don't do what I say, then I'll fucking... It's the most basic form of quality of life that we can fucking get to. Luckily in the West, we're like, well, we've got a bit of that, especially in Australia and New Zealand. Like, we can say what we want, do what we want.
Well, is it because we're educated?
I don't know, man. I think you know, there's a whole fucking conspiracy theory about, like, you know, what makes the most productive human.
Well, I don't even believe any of that crap. I think that so long the Middle East has had so much turmoil and war. You know, what happened with Palestine and Israel, what happened with Syria and all that being broken up, with Egypt going in.
Yeah.
That's a whole other huge topic to cover.
Poor Egypt.
Egypt is Egypt's about the sixth most.
Money.
But you know,
Egypt's the sixth most.
But it's all corruption. It's all corruption. It's all. I know this is a bit of a wide, you know, sweeping statement, but it doesn't seem legit. Like, they have these governments that come into power. You know, oh, we're here to look after the people. The people hate them. And then there's a revolt. It doesn't seem legit.
But also in
I love that we're getting a say now. Democracy, yeah.
In the Middle East, you've also got the fundamentalist people, Islamists. They like the dictatorship because they fall in line. They like the form of control because their religion controls them. So they don't mind when a dictator says, this is for your fucking own good. But then the people who sort of are in a secular sort of, the different sort of religions, they're like, well, I don't want you to tell me what you think is right for me. I want to vote on it and I want to be a part of it. But so you've got these two people fighting this old school dinosaur way of thinking where they're like, I want to be told what to do because it's for my best. It's for I believe in
ignorance and arrogance.
The Islamic Brotherhood or whatever. What is it? Fucking I
think it's
Brotherhood something.
But you know, okay, so pull us all back to the multicultural melting pot that is Melbourne.
Yes, I'm sorry. I apologise to all the listeners.
Gone a bit global.
I apologise to all the listeners, and I was actually going to pull it back before because we actually started this podcast to talk about the beautifulness of what Melbourne is.
Let's talk about the actual, the real beauty of Melbourne, and a story that I've got to tell you is one that Sean you experienced today as we walked down to get our wine, of course, at the luxurious bottle shop.
At Woolworths.
Which is very luxurious. It's got every herb and spice from all over the world. Yeah.
Any season.
What do we got? We've got a lovely bit of Bailey's one, isn't it?
Oh, this one here is from the King Valley. It's a Pinot Grigio 2012.
A good year 2012, I've heard, you know.
Right, the one that they produced on the 21st is going to be a show. But
yes,
I just want
the grapes that day will be
to say,
enlightened.
So walking up the street to buy our wine, look across the road, an elderly lady hunched over a Zimmer frame walker.
And a daughter.
Well,
just fucking blasting.
You could only imagine blasting her.
But the daughter was old. You're like old people.
Well,
45.
The daughter was a fatty, you know.
Like an adult who should know better. Really.
She was a big girl.
She'd been shat on by society, and Chris initiated the intervention.
There needed to be an intervention. It's not the first intervention I've done. Won't be the last.
And I love you for that because I would just stand there in horror and I might yell something across the street, but you went over nice, calmly, collectedly, which is what's needed because she needed to be told fucking time. You know, the daughter needed to be told this isn't...
Well, first of all, I said, with my eyes... from across the road, I'm watching you, bitch.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she saw that happening, but she didn't stop. So I thought, well, I'll mosey on across and just ask if everything's okay. And to the reply of the mother, I don't speak no English. And I thought, okay then, well, she doesn't speak English, so I thought I'd direct my conversation towards the daughter. And I said, hey, is everything okay? Why are you yelling at your mum?
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, she's deaf, she's dumb, she don't understand.
She's not with it.
She's
so
not with
I
it.
need to yell
So
at her
yell at her.
to fucking get through.
And then I fell into a culture trap. And the culture trap was that the mother said to me, I'm Greek, I don't understand any English. And at this stage, another woman had come up who was also concerned about the argument and said, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
And she was also talking to the daughter saying, hey, stop yelling at your mother. And I turned to this lovely lady who had stopped also to help out, and I said, don't worry, it's their culture.
You said that, really?
That's why they yell at each other. And then all of a sudden, bang, I thought, I've fallen into a culture trap.
Yeah.
This is not appropriate behaviour.
In any culture.
In any culture. For someone to be yelling at each other, abuse, on the street, especially to an elderly lady, she must have been maybe 90 years old. She definitely had a moustache. Well, old people get moustaches.
Yeah.
And her daughter to be nutting out at her in such a fashion. And then I thought, oh, wait a minute. It's all good.
It's all right.
They're Greek.
This is how it happened. It's almost like me saying black people kill each other with guns.
Yeah.
That's just their culture.
It's their culture.
Their culture.
And I fell into that culture trap. And I know when I first got here from New Zealand, I wouldn't have, I didn't know the culture of Melbourne. And I wouldn't have never tolerated it. And I would have never said such things. Mm-hmm. But after living here, and becoming accustomed to a culture, do you start to take on their values and think, well, that's okay for them to do that, and of course, that's how that is. And is it racist to say, was I being racist? That's how Greek people talk to each other.
Yeah, well, you're definitely stereotyping them, putting them in a box, and that would have to be what racism, essentially what people say it is, like stereotype, generalising.
I've seen a lot of, let's say, culture, and we've talked about it a little bit so far. We've talked about the homeless people here. We've talked about, the Greeks and what I've come across. And of course, we've talked about the health system, and that develops a form of culture. Yeah. And I think the problem is, and this is just my own thoughts around it, is that when you live in a multicultural society, you end up with pockets of multiculturalism. So it's called the CBD. That's where we'll tolerate each other. Okay? And then at the end of the day, all you fucking Greeks and Italians go to Lygon Street.
Asians go to Victoria Street, Box Hill, Footscray.
And if you're Sudanese, we want you out of Sunshine. If you're white Westerners, Turak.
If you're a Bogan, you go to Frankston.
Bogan, go to Frankston.
But hold on, no. Look, do they?
And are we really multicultural? Because what happens is we
it's natural
hang out with our
for
lives.
people to want to hang out with the people of their own kind. That's a normal thing, and I don't think that it's so hard for Australia because we are so multicultural. Like, it's really hard for us to understand that it's okay to want to hang out with people that are like you, and you're not being rude by going, I just don't agree with your values. I don't like the way that you
are you being ignorant?
That's fine.
But do they do that by themselves?
If you want to be ignorant of that and you don't want to learn,
we don't say you have to go and fucking live.
If you're being ignorant, are you being racist?
Well, I don't know. Like, I think racism is essentially what racism really is putting value on someone's life based on their God-given.
This might be a controversial statement, but I think all culture is benign. I think what happens is it holds people back. It holds people back. It stops people from moving forward. They can blame the culture. Just like what happened on the street just before the story.
That's only one aspect of culture.
We're Greek. This is how we talk to each other. So...
But you've got to look at culture as a constantly changing,
but also,
radically
culture
thing.
Isn't
it's
evolving.
Not static.
That's
it's always evolving.
No. That's the problem with culture. Is culture it doesn't evolve. Okay. Culture is
I'm going to bring this back. I'm going to bring this back to my line of thinking. Okay, and that is, I know culture is I think culture is a constantly evolving thing, but what I dislike from my travels overseas is I dislike how the economic status of a country will control the way that people portray their culture. From when I went over to Italy, they are not fucking happy people. And I know they were always not very happy because I've been over a couple of times, but the second time I went over, they're not happy. They don't have a lot of cash. The fucking country's going down the gurgler. It's fucked up. And and it's probably from just inequality, rich to poor. But at the end of the day, the economic viability of their country controls the way that they portray the sort of person that they are.
Okay, well, I'll disagree with you there because the Pacific Islands, there's some small Pacific Islands that have got small populations.
Have they ever tasted the goodness, but?
Have they ever tasted... They've never been in a Ferrari, and they haven't had a drink of this finest Pinot Gris from the King Valley 2012, but they're happy. So I don't necessarily...
Happiness is
no.
nothing.
I
don't necessarily agree.
Italy was up there, and that is...
Now you're associating happiness with money.
So you have to...
But Sean, do you remember that article?
But let's be serious. You know, there is a certain amount of happiness you need from a little bit of money.
Well, if you've got clean water, education...
It's being comfortable. You just need to become... You have to have your needs.
It's those five things.
And then you can... Once you are able to stop worrying about your survival, then you can go and you can pursue happiness.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot...
That's the beauty of these are small islands. They go fishing every day, get their fish, they got their fresh water. They don't need for much.
Yeah.
And you know what? For thousands and thousands and thousands of years, none of us needed for much. The human race.
Yeah.
But as information and technology...
It's not like we're able to be more happy now because we're developed. We're living in the 21st century.
The internet has made me very happy.
Happiness is...
I love the fucking internet. Whoever the fuck got... Can you Google that? Let's
Switzerland
make
is like a university that tried to create...
It's a university. Switzerland.
There was a computer that...
Because I want to praise a motherfucker who... good on him.
Do you want to just like their Facebook page?
I want to...
I don't think he's got one anymore.
I would think about jerking off the guy who invented the internet. If it was a guy, to start.
It was a guy.
It was a guy. No, I've actually read up on it before. I've just forgotten. But you know, we should know about this. People should know about this. Could you find out
on
Berners-Lee?
Yeah, and he created
Berners-Lee.
And what happened is that Apple, after the CEO of Apple left, what was his name? He's one of the most famous people in the world.
Steve Jobs.
He left Apple.
He left this
and
world.
he actually created his own PC with a different operating system, and that's the PC that the internet was formed on.
Yeah.
And it was originally designed for universities to share information about students.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And then they realised, well, hey, porn is very popular.
And let's make this serious. For the people listening to the podcast, one third of the internet, 1/3 of internet traffic is pornography.
Really?
Is porn. 1/3. Okay, so 1/3 is streaming videos about chicks getting slammed and guys blowing on chicks' faces.
Hey, you've left a little bit of the population out.
Yeah, sorry. There's a few guys and girls having sex, intermittently there
I
as
love
well.
thinking about the internet as if when you think about the universe as everything is connected and everything is like data storage, everyone who has an image is all data that's in the universe, is there to be seen, there to be heard, there to be experienced. It's all like one thing, right? Think of that like that. I love thinking of the internet as that's exactly what that is, but in a digital form. And now we've got this internet universe that is completely reflecting our world here, but all in that realm.
Where do you guys sit with? Let's say, do you know how you might tell a lie, and you're and if you're this way inclined, you might think, oh look, I fucking I shouldn't have told that lie. I put some bad energy out into the universe. I didn't need to say
I don't believe in the universe.
No, wait. Well, you've got to believe in the universe.
I'm atheist.
All right. No,
I don't believe in nature.
Shut up. All right.
No, I believe in nature, but I don't believe that it understands me.
But do you believe, when you send a text message...
judgment. It doesn't understand you.
Wait, fuck. All right? When you send a text message, you put... whatever you're saying out, because it has to travel. It travels.
Yeah.
It travels.
Someone might murder somebody from my text messages. They are so vicious sometimes.
Possibility.
Just don't have a negative tone in yours. I got chastised by that.
It was an important thing I was saying. You guys just fucking play. I'm trying to fucking have a decent conversation.
Okay, so you
guys are talking about porn and sex and fucking all that sort of shit.
So you're saying that when you put a text out, you've put that data out into
you're putting it out into the
world, and that's what I mean. It's like the internet.
I just want to go back for 1 second when he said about the internet being full of porn.
Yeah.
Well, isn't the natural world full of porn? I look around at, or not when I look around,
reproduction.
But it's one of the main things that we do is fuck.
Well, that
actually
could be like we all go to these jobs and we fucking watch this TV and we fucking
we get a nice
really at the end of the day we're all here just to fuck.
Well,
are we?